Hello, everybody. I'm Colleen Vanderzyden, and this is Creating an Inspired Life. I am a registered medium at Lilydale Assembly, which is the largest spiritualist community in the world. And it is a community of mediums as well as healers. There's a summer season where people do workshops and people come from all over the world for readings. And I'm also a certified spiritual life coach. And as a life coach, I help people take action to create the life they want to have. Now, before I start my coaching tip, I have to do a little plug for a television show that's coming up on Sunday. CNN's show, This is Life with Lisa Ling, was in Lilydale last year in 2017 and filmed for a whole week and filmed several mediums and a whole bunch of other things that are there. And the show is going to air on Sunday night, October 28th at 10 p.m. on CNN. Okay, so this is CNN, This is Life with Lisa Ling, 10 p.m. on Sunday. So if you're interested in mediumship or psychic work, which you must be if you're watching and listening, you might want to tune into the show. Now, I do know they did film me, and I do know I saw my face on a trailer, but I'll probably only be in the show for like 30 seconds, maybe 60. So we'll see what happens. It'll be fun to watch. So I invite you to watch that. Now, today's coaching tip is all about there is no shame in undo. Okay? There is no shame in undo. I'll tell you how I came to this. As you know, I get inspiration from everything that happens in my life. Anything that happens, I can make it into a story here for you. And most evenings, I play a game of solitaire. And as I was sitting down to play it one night, all of a sudden that phrase popped up. There is no shame in undo. This is a feature on solitaire, if you haven't played it, where you can hit undo and your last move will be undone. And people usually do that when they go on to the next card and realize they would have had a better opportunity if they hadn't done the previous move. Some people will never use the undo feature. Some people like the challenge that they've created by missing something and going, let's see what happens. I'll just keep going. They love to do that. And if they love the challenge, that's all good. Now, there are some others who might not want to hit the undo. And I think that's why solitaire popped that little thing up. There's no shame in doing the undo. They could be stubborn. People could be stubborn and not want to do it. And it could be for them admitting that they made a bad choice. And even though they didn't know it at the time, it just was the way it was. Maybe they don't want to make a mistake, so they're afraid to undo it. Maybe it's tied to not wanting to feel wrong. Who knows why people don't do it? Some people, now, and this is a joke, I'm sure, by solitaire, but some people might feel shame if they use the undo feature because they might take it a little bit more personally. Maybe they look at it as their wrong choices that may validate some feelings they have inside about themselves, feelings where they're not good enough or they're not smart enough. So they might feel badly about themselves and they think they should have done something better. As I was thinking about this, the thought that some people wouldn't do the undo feature, they were resistant to it, got me thinking about life, of course, and how sometimes we don't take action to undo some things that we may have created. And we get stuck playing a game that could be changed. Why would we do that? Why would we keep ourselves there stuck? Why wouldn't we want to fix things that might not be working? Why wouldn't we want to undo things when we find out they're not the best choice? How many times do we get stuck in something, a relationship, a job, and we don't want to undo that for some reason? Maybe we don't want other people to know that we've made a wrong choice. That can be in quotes, we're a wrong choice. Maybe we feel like we just should have known better. Or maybe we put ourselves down for our choices and don't realize we have the power to change how we're experiencing our lives. As I always say, we can't necessarily change our situations, but we can always change how we're experiencing life. We can stay stuck in shame, thinking poorly of ourselves, which then keeps us stuck in inaction, not taking any action at all. Or we can take responsibility for our lives and just do the best we can to fix our lives, creating the life we want to have. We can't really undo all of our actions. Some we can undo, some we have to undo a little bit, and it never really goes back to the way it used to be, but at least we can get rid of a problem, probably. we can't always take back our words. Well, we usually can't take back our words, but we can take responsibility for trying to fix whatever we've created. Trying to fix something is a form of undoing any mistakes or questionable choices we may have had. I've heard many clients talk over the years about how they can't make a change. They can't fix something. And some say they shouldn't have to fix it because it's caused by somebody else. It's somebody else's fault. But yet they're miserable. And if you're miserable and having a problem or whatever, that's a sign that something needs to change. And it could be as simple as changing your perception of your problem. If you change your perception, you might be able to make a different choice and go in a different direction. I had a client once a while ago. I'll call her Nancy for the sake of making sure we don't know who she is. And she was having some very severe, extreme issues with her family. They refused to talk to her anymore. She complained they wouldn't listen to her. She complained that they wouldn't take her advice. And as she was telling me some of the stories of how they basically just cut her out of their lives, I could tell that she might have been maybe a little bit overbearing with them, telling them what to do, and she didn't seem to be very tactful. She was very clear that she knew whatever she knew, and it was right. She did not want to admit that she had been wrong or she had done anything that could contribute to this situation. So I suggested as kindly as I could that she might want to look at it from a different perception and make a little bit of an effort to look at it from the point of view of her family members and see if she might have said something, done something that would have contributed to them being so angry with her that they never wanted to see her again. And she outright refused to consider the possibility she had done anything wrong. She stubbornly chose to stay in that place. And she just loved the complaining and how she wasn't going to do anything. And they were the ones who had to fix it. She refused to make any effort to repair this relationship. And she was not at all open to the idea that she could change her perception of the problem, even if it was going to make her feel better, that she actually had control over this. Now, I don't know the true story of all of this because I only got the one-sided version, but listening to her, you could tell that there might have been a situation there that she may have caused. In refusing on her part to even try to fix the problem, to try to undo some of that damage, she was keeping herself in pain. Now, here's the interesting part. She wasn't experiencing any shame because she was so unaware of herself. She was just totally blaming everybody else for her problem and how pained she was. She was unwilling to see she could shift her perspective. She's the only person who's going to change how she feels, and she's choosing to stay in the pain. And let's, just look at this. Face this. If your whole family is not wanting to talk to you, not just one or two people, but your whole family, there's probably a reason for that. So anyway, there's no shame in trying to fix a problem. If you're doing the best you can in your life, if you're taking responsibility for your part, then it's all good. Maybe it is somebody else's fault. Yes, that can happen sometimes. But if you refuse to consider the possibility that you might be able to undo some damage or fix something, or you might be able to change your perception. Moving into that idea of being responsible for your feelings. If you can move into that stuff, you'll help alleviate some of that pain. If you're struggling with a problem, is there something you can undo? Is there something you can fix? Some way you can fix how you're feeling? Is there something you need to clarify with someone else? Is there a way to shift your perception, even if you've been wrong? Is there a way that you can take some action? And even if you feel you're heading in the wrong direction, maybe you made a choice and it doesn't feel like the best one anymore, there's no shame in undoing. The only way out, though, is to take some responsibility for how you feel. And it might be the fixing something. It might be undoing the damage. It could be as simple as changing your mind. But remember, there's no shame in trying to fix something so you can live a better life, the life you want to have. You don't have to stay stuck playing a bad card. You don't have to stay with a decision you've made. You always have the ability to undo. It may not go back to the way it used to be exactly, but you can get it much closer than you will right now if you're not doing anything. And that is my coaching tip of the day. You can connect with me at psychicmediumcolleen.com, or if you're feeling brave, you could try ColleenVanderzyden.com. You can also find me on Facebook, Colleen Vanderzyden, medium and self-empowerment coach. And I would love to hear from you there. So we will move on to our first caller, who is Tori in Ohio. Tori, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. And how can I help you today?
I'm not sure how this even works.
Okay. Usually what happens, people will call in and they may have a specific question or a specific problem that they'd like to get some guidance or advice or psychic information on. So that's usually a good way to start if you're not sure what you want to talk about just yet.
Okay. I recently just broke up with my fiance, actually yesterday. So.
Okay.
I'm wondering. I'm sorry.
You just want to know that you're going to feel better then.
Yes.
That's what you want to know. Yeah. And it is interesting because when I first heard your voice, I could hear some of this, I don't know what I want to call it, emotion behind your words. And it is interesting because I'm getting the impression, and tell me if this is true, I'm getting the impression that you're the one that decided to end this relationship. Is that true?
Yeah.
And
yes,
I'm also getting And I'm also getting the impression that it took you quite some time to come to that decision, that you went back and forth, you were thinking and thinking and thinking. And there were even times you actually said to yourself, it's not that bad. Didn't you do that?
Yes.
Yeah. And you'd say to yourself, oh, it's not that bad. I can put up with it. And but your heart, your being, your inner self, it was saying to you all the time that it wasn't quite right. And I'm definitely getting the impression you put in 100% here trying to make it work. I'm also getting the impression that you suppressed yourself a little bit. You didn't say some of the things you really wanted to say because it was easier to just let it slide. And then what ended up happening, though, is eventually it got to the point where it was unbearable for you. So I want to actually congratulate you for looking out for yourself and looking out for what you need for yourself. I don't know if you're second guessing yourself. I know most people do, but the feeling I'm getting is a relief. I feel such a relief. Are you feeling relieved over this?
Yes.
Oh, good. Good. Because I don't want to tell you the wrong things, right? But that's what it feels like to me. I feel relief. I feel like, oh, good. I almost feel like I can breathe now. Now, what's going to happen for you in the next little bit of time here is there are going to become some times where you might start to second guess yourself, and just don't do it. Just don't do it. As soon as you start doing it, go back to be comfortable for yourself. There's going to be holes in certain areas of your life that you're going to have to learn how to fill in a different way. So it's going to take you a little bit of time to get your balance back. And I always tell my coaching clients when something happens that's kind of big and traumatic, which this would be, is to pay attention to those things that make you happy the most. Pay attention to those things that will give you some joy. All of a sudden, and I hope this isn't offensive to anyone who's listening. All of a sudden, I wanted to see you relaxing in like a nice hot tub or a nice hot bathtub or anything like this. Do you like to relax in the tub? Just have a nice hot bath and relax. Isn't that funny? Yeah. I love the weird stuff that comes in. And there's something to be said for that because that's something you like to do and it helps you relax. I want to sit there and close my eyes, maybe do a little reading and just kind of, let things go. So do those things that are most important to you, the ones that make you happy, and not worry about the other things. The feeling I'm getting is you have made quite the right choice. Okay. Because it feels like such a relief on your part. It also feels like it's given you more space to be who you want to be, to do what you want to do, and not have to be concerned about anybody else. Don't also be concerned about connecting in with somebody, finding a new partner. Take your time. Don't do that yet. Just take your time. You've got a time now of healing where you've got to get back to you again. So give yourself at least 3 or 4 months. Do not try to jump back in, with somebody else.
Okay.
Is there somebody you're interested in already?
Yes.
I thought so. Okay. Hesitate on this. I'm not saying it's a bad situation or anything like that. I'm not saying that. I could feel somebody around you right away. I was like, oh no. But because you've got to get used to being back to yourself on your own first. You've got to get back used to this. You've got to get used to going through those emotions of this change. So if you rush through this part of time, and if you rush through and ignore how you've got to get back to yourself, you're going to have to do it later and you're going to have to catch up. So just take your time and just be you, do your own thing. Don't worry about anybody else just yet. 3 months is not that long. And then you can, get back out there when you're feeling like yourself. I'm telling you, this I know 100,000,000%. If you jump right back in right now, you're not going to be healed. You're not going to deal with what you need to deal with. And then some of these things are going to pop up later. Just do it now and get it done with. Just be done with it. And it's not like it's going to be painful because you're going to do things that are important to you. And speaking of that, I want to ask you one more question before I let you go. Do you ever do any kind of artistic work, drawing, painting, anything like this?
I used to.
Okay, because I want to be drawing or painting. Okay, that comes in very clearly as well. So that may be something to do to give you some stress outlet or an emotional outlet. And it doesn't have to be good. It doesn't have to be something you're going to sell or anything like that. It's just for fun and for your benefit. So that might be something to consider as well. Sometimes when we're doing something new, even though you used to do it and you haven't been doing it in a while, it kind of gives you a little bit of relaxation and gets you resetting your energy, and it can speed some things up along. So consider that as well, because that I think you would really enjoy, actually. I was speaking of cards too tonight, just briefly there. Do you play any cards? Do you do solitaire or play something with cards?
I do like tarot cards.
Oh, do you? How fun is that? Awesome. Okay. So there's a mention of that as well. So consider maybe stepping that up even a little bit too. That might be fun too. See, now I've got you so busy, you don't even have time to date right now. So you keep yourself as busy as possible and just have fun. Get back to you. Now we're at the end of October almost. So November, December, be like the end of January. That'd be a good time to get back out there. That's my opinion. You do with it what you want. Well, Tori, it was so nice talking to you. I should let you go. Good luck with everything, and congratulations for finding yourself again. That's very important. I'm so happy for you to do that. You have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome. And that was Tori from Ohio. Yeah, it's always interesting when we have those relationship issues, and ending relationships can be so difficult, can't it? But it has to be done. Either that or we'd all be married to the person we met when we were in first grade. So we're going to go now to Ashley from Canada. Ashley, how are you today?
I'm not too bad. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. Thank you. How can I help you today?
Okay. Long story short, last year I was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer.
Okay.
And long story short, I lost my mom when I was 10 years old. And I don't know, and my birthday's coming up tomorrow, and I just wanted to see if I can get a message or something from her.
From your mom? Yeah. Yeah, and so that's a bit of time ago that she's passed then. Now, I'm going to describe a woman, and you tell me if it sounds like her, though. If it doesn't sound like her, it's not her. But if it does sound like her, it is. Okay. And there's a feeling of her, this woman that I've got coming in. The way she's coming in, I get such an impression of her. Boy, I hate to say this, but it's like the nurturing mom that takes care of everybody else. I get the impression she does not complain about things in her life. I also get the impression, was she also ill before she passes?
Yes. Yes.
And because I'm getting the impression she's not telling you everything, okay, about how she's feeling, what's going on. I feel her protecting you. For her, it's, I don't want to tell her everything because I don't want her to worry, and she doesn't need to know. Okay. So there is that feeling. At the same time, I'm also getting a bit of a feeling that you have, you understand that she's seriously ill, even though I don't get the impression people come out and tell you this until it's really close to her passing. And she's given me also the impression, you know what? You're a lot like her, aren't you? You're one of those people that's out there helping people all the time as well. You know, you've got that nurturing energy as well. Is there a name connection to Suzanne or Susan or something like this between you, your mom, someplace in your family?
Not on the top of my head, no.
Okay, because that name pops in. So sometimes I'll get a connecting name and it'll be there somewhere, you know, so it'll make sense if it's supposed to make sense. But that name popped in. I want to make sure I said it before I kept going. The way she's coming in, she was so young when she passes. She's giving me such an impression of, you really have a pretty good attitude about things. She's saying you've tried very hard to stay as positive as possible. Even when you were dealing with that situation last year, you were working really hard to stay positive. Were you also looking at some alternative kind of things, you know, looking at, essential oils or meditating or things like this? Were you working with some of that as well last year?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Because you understand the medical field. We have to, we kind of have to go along with what's going on with the medical field. But at the same time, we can supplement with other things. She's also given me the impression you were looking at different foods as well. And you were cleaning up your diet. Did you start cleaning up?
Yep. Big time.
Okay. Good. And she tells me you're still doing it, aren't you? And she says, it's awesome. And you made some very nice connections during that time. You met some people who were very encouraging, supportive, very kind. And you leaned on some people that you didn't know before this, like medical people and things like that. You leaned on them and you learned so much, not just about the situation, but you learned so much about the value of living, the value of being kind, the gratitude you have for all the people that helped you. And she's telling me that the lessons you learned from this have profoundly changed your life. They've profoundly changed who you are. And she's telling me that, I know this is an odd thing to say now, that it was such a blessing for you to have that opportunity to be able to look at life from this new perspective. And she's so proud of you. So proud of you. I'm getting goosebumps right now as she's coming through. I'm so proud of you, she says, because you decided to take something that was not a positive situation and you made it into something that was a good experience. I know that sounds so strange, but you know what I'm saying. You looked for the good in it. Yeah, you understand exactly what I'm saying. You looked for the good in it. And you're willing to do that. She also tells me, and tell me if this is true, that yours wasn't that bad. Your cancer wasn't that bad. Was it, how can I put it? Well, small or something?
Yeah, it wasn't as bad as hers. I was pretty lucky, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was really lucky they caught it when they did.
Okay, good. Because that's what she's telling me. So, because it seems like when they caught hers, it was a little bit further along. But as she's talking about you, she's giving me such an impression of enthusiasm for your life. Enthusiasm, because you have so many things you still want to do. You have so many things you're going to be doing. You have so much time to get these things done. You have, it's kind of like you've thought to yourself, okay, before I die in, 80 years, what do I want to have done? What do I want to have accomplished in this lifetime? What is my dream? What are my goals? And so you've got lots of time, but I feel a sense of urgency with you now taking some of those action steps. So you just get out there and go and do those fun things that you want to do. I have to say, I am feeling your energy, your health as being quite good right now. Okay. I'm feeling that nice. And so it feels everything is good to me. The action, I'm telling her, the action, she's going on and on. The actions you've been taking to clean up the diet and to do the right things, taking care of yourself, keep doing them. she also gives me the impression, and this is abnormal, that you are not going to stop taking care of yourself. Okay. Usually people get, something happens and they try really hard for a while, then it kind of falls by the wayside and they kind of forget. Mm-hmm. Okay. But for you, she's telling me you're not going to forget. You're going to keep doing it. This is a lifestyle change and you're going to maintain it. Okay. And she's congratulating you on that. She's telling me how much she loves you. Oh my gosh. I wish I could reach through the phone and just give you this hug that I'm feeling right now. She is telling me how much she loves you and how proud she is of you. And she says you have given her such a sense of, gosh, it's like a sense of honor. You've honored her by how you've handled this situation, but you've honored her also by how you're living and how you act. And it's not that she needs that, but she wants you to understand how proud she is of you and how she's always with you and she will never, ever leave you. And that doesn't mean she's not in heaven. She can be in both places at once, but she's not going to leave you. So you just keep talking to her and she will just keep surrounding you with her love and all of this stuff. Oh my goodness me. Talk so fast. And there's one more thing. If you haven't thought about going on a cruise or a boat or something like this, think about that because I see you doing one. So you're going to do something like this, a cruise, some kind of boat, something like that. Okay. Well, Ashley, I talked really, really fast. So much love coming from your mom. You can listen to this again and hear it again. So you can find it on Facebook and all over the place. So then you can hear the messages again if you want to. Maybe you want to record it even so you can remember it. It's kind of fun. So Ashley, it was really nice talking to you. Happy birthday and congratulations on feeling better. And you have a great day tomorrow.
I will. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Bye-bye. And that was Ashley. Yeah, it's such an interesting thing, when your mom passes when you're so young, it can be really hard on us. So this week, just remember, if you've got something to undo, just undo it. Okay? This is Creating an Inspired Life, and I'm Colleen Vanderzyden. You can reach me at psychicmediumcolleen.com or on Facebook, Colleen Vanderzyden, Medium and Self-Empowerment Coach. You have a great week, and I will talk to you next week. Goodbye.